Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Matt McDonald, the Assistant Athletic Director for Communications at Northeastern. On behalf of Northeastern Athletics and the Northeastern hockey family, I'd like to welcome members of the media, our guests, and those of you watching the live stream of today's event for what is a great day at Matthews Arena. Today is the day we introduce, as the 10th ever head coach of Northeastern men's ice hockey, Jim Madigan. As you all well know, Jim's Northeastern roots run deep. He's a Northeastern alumnus, was a 4-year letter winner for the Huskies under legendary coach Fernie Flaman. Jim helped lead the Huskies to the Frozen Four, and he's been a part of 3 of Northeastern's Beanpot championships. He's coached at Vermont and here at Northeastern, and as an NHL scout, he was part of a Pittsburgh Penguins organization that won the Stanley Cup in 2009. And now, today, it's time to bring Jim Madigan home to Matthews Arena. It's my distinct honor now to introduce to you the Director of Athletics at Northeastern University, Mr. Peter Roby.
Thank you, Matt. Thanks, everybody. Really appreciate everyone being here today on such a special occasion, and it's great to bring the Northeastern family together for something this special. I first want to thank all of you for being here. I want to thank the media for being here to cover this event and to help us welcome Jim into this role. I want to thank all the candidates that interviewed and showed interest in this position. It was humbling and flattering to see the quality of the candidate pool, the sincerity of their interest, and their professionalism. And so I want to make sure that I thank each of them for being a part of that process. And then lastly, I want to thank the members of our Northeastern community that participated in the process of interviewing the candidates that we did actually bring on campus for their commitment and their support of the process. So thank you to all of them. I thought it might be helpful to just share a couple of thoughts with those of you here about some of the criteria that I used when I was trying to decide who would be the best person to lead Northeastern hockey over the next decade or more, we hope. And I know Jim hopes that. I know his family actually hopes for that, and that's what we expect for a long time to come. All the decisions that I make are done through the prism of student-athlete welfare. And how does this or any other decision support a positive student-athlete experience? Hiring someone starts with finding a quality person. What do they stand for? Why do they want to work in collegiate athletics? What are their values? How much do they believe in education? How respectful are they to others? How respectful are others toward them? Next, the question is, do they understand and appreciate the uniqueness of Northeastern and all we have to offer here? Will they fit into the culture of our department and the university at large? Will they help our student athletes maximize the opportunities that Northeastern provides? Do they understand and appreciate the history of Northeastern hockey? Another consideration for me is, can they articulate all those positive attributes of Northeastern in a passionate and compelling way to prospective student athletes, their parents, coaches, and the media? And in addition, do they have the technical and professional knowledge and expertise to help our players develop their skills? Do they have the network to recruit nationally and internationally? And do they know what winning looks like? And finally, is the person a leader? Do they appreciate the role and responsibility of leadership? Will they appreciate that leadership is 24/7 and 365 days a year responsibility? Do they have what it takes to make difficult decisions? Do they want to lead for all the right reasons? As this process went along, and I spoke to numerous people about their interest in this position and to others about the candidates, it became clear to me that if I believed in all the things I just mentioned, that the most appropriate person to lead Northeastern hockey was Jim Madigan. And so it gives me a great deal of pride, and it makes me very excited to be able to introduce the next head men's hockey coach at Northeastern University, Jim Madigan.
Thank you very much. It's very humbling to stand up here and to receive that warm welcome applause. I look out and I see so many different folks that represent so much of me here at Northeastern University, and I truly am pleased that all of you come here to share this great day with me and my family. I'd like to thank Peter Roby for the confident support in naming me the next head coach here at Northeastern University. We've had a lot of conversations over the last 2 to 3 weeks. I've learned a lot about his values. I think we have some of the same shared core values, and the confidence that he's just bestowed upon me in leading this wonderful program is greatly appreciated, Peter. Excuse me, Peter, thank you. Two other folks who played a key role in any hiring at the university, President Aoun, our Senior Vice President for Enrollment Management, Student Affairs, Philly Mantella. I thank them for their confidence, their support, and their willingness to allow me to lead this program at such a critical point in time of our existence here at Northeastern Hockey. So I thank the two of them. To say that this is the greatest day of my professional life would be an understatement. It was 30 years ago, almost to the end of this month, the end of August, that my mom and dad drove me down from Toronto, Ontario, dropped me off just down the road here in front of Whitehall, to my roommate Timmy Marshall, who's here from Hull, Mass, and we met each other, our families, for the first time. And it was the beginning of a love affair with Jim Madigan at Northeastern University. It was something new for Jim Madigan. It was a new country, a new city, new teammates, new coaches. It was new classmates. Well, I don't think too much to me that first month we really saw that many classmates, but they won't check our academic records.
You actually did.
And it was to begin the life affair with me and the university that took me from different travels, from the hockey office, from a player for 4 years here at Northeastern, where we enjoyed success both on the ice, off the ice. We had 7 seniors my freshman year who helped really set the standard for Northeastern hockey in the 1980s. Some of them are here right here today, Paul Philippe being one of the captains. Some couldn't be here to express their sincere appreciation to me today, and Chucky Marshall, Glenn Giovanucci played a key role and helped for me. And it was at that time that helped establish Northeastern hockey, and we went on to win Beanpot's attend a national championship, where we went on to win league championships. And then I was fortunate enough to be able to come back to the hockey family, and a gentleman who's sitting right on front, Fernie Flaman, who was my coach, along with Don McKenney, who provided me that unique opportunity back in 1981 to come to Northeastern, where they embraced me, took me in, and my wife, as we just got married, into the Northeastern hockey community. At that time, Fernie Flaman, Don McKenney were what Northeastern hockey represented in so many different ways. Their values, their ability to make us grow up as men, their ability to challenge us on the ice, off the ice. And it's those experiences that I want to continue to implement and instill in our current student athletes. But the love affair continued, and after I left with Northeastern hockey, I was able to get in the administration side of the house and be mentored by a gentleman named Jack Malone, who was a good friend to this day and helped me out in so many different ways. And I moved on to athletic development, working with some real key athletic directors here at the university. And then from there, it was into the business school and development operation. All along, I was mentored, I was provided guidance, I was provided an opportunity to be successful, put into the right position to be successful. And I enjoyed each and every one of those experiences. My last experience in the development office, I worked with some real key, wonderful people here at Northeastern. Diane McGilvray, our Senior Vice President for Advancement. Jack Moynihan, who's a very close friend, who's our Vice President for Alumni Relations in the Northeastern Fund. And Tom Moore, who was a key mentor who recently just passed away as our Dean of the Business School in June, but really helped grow me as a manager here at this institution, provide me some effective leadership skills. And now our current Dean of the Business School, Harry Lane. All along, I longed to get back here to Northeastern University's Matthews Arena. This is where it began. This is where I wanted to come back to. I knew that this opportunity could present itself, or thought it could present itself over the last couple years. Greg Cronin and I are very close friends. He's led a wonderful resurgence of the hockey program, and when you have that type of success, it doesn't go unnoticed. And being in the professional ranks, knowing that they were flirting with his willingness to come to the pro ranks, I thought that maybe things could align down the road. It did this year when Greg took a wonderful opportunity, and I was ready to go. This was a job that I coveted for many years, the job when I was 18 years of age or 19 years of age to when I graduated, that I wanted to be our next head coach. In some ways I was groomed by Fernie and Don and by the administration to come back and be here as the next head coach. And I am thrilled beyond belief to be standing here in front of you as our next head hockey coach. It was a circuitous route, no doubt about it. It's not a direct path, the one that Jim Madigan took to be our next head coach. I'm glad that the university and the administration showed the confidence in me, in my hockey knowledge, my hockey acumen, and the fact that I've got leadership skills that I've demonstrated in the university, in the development office, and quite frankly, that the university bestowed the confidence in me to exemplify those leadership skills, and I'm forever grateful to the institution for that. People say, why now, Jim? And I think I was asked that mostly by a lot of the people in the interview. And why now is because at the intersection of who I am, three things are really important to me: family, Northeastern, and hockey. I have two wonderful parents who provided me a core values that to this day I still live by. I have a loving, wonderful family in front of me, wife and two daughters, who provided me a foundation of support that allows me to chase my two passions, which is Northeastern and hockey. And now I'm at that intersection of Northeastern hockey coming together. It's no longer on a separate track, it's together. And the ability to provide back to our student athletes the experiences that we had. Craig Frank sitting here in front of me and his wife Beth, who are best friends of ours, my wife since the college days. Paul Philippe, I mentioned, Michael McDougall, Billy Cotter, Timmy Marshall, gentlemen who are here who know that experience of having to play for Fernie Flaman and Don McKenney. It's an experience that I've already talked about, and it's an experience that I want to give back to our student athletes, and so that they can grow up as young men, start as young men, and grow and develop into men when they leave this institution with a degree that will give them a skill set and with the hockey opportunities that they can pursue when their 4 years are up. Make no mistake about it, we want to develop young men, but we also want to win. And I think that was reinforced by the president in a conversation with me yesterday on the phone. And I've heard the message before from a development perspective, but it's winning the right way. And that's something that Peter and I have shared about how we're going to get there. And there's dignity with winning, and there's a set of shared core values that we're going to implement in getting us into the winning line. And And they don't need to be mutually exclusive. They're inclusive, and we're going to use that approach in winning hockey games here at Northeastern University. Our climate as an institution has been well regarded, and it's been well documented in the papers over the last 10 years. And the job this institution has done in transforming it, the university from a commuter-based campus to a residential campus with an urban setting that is beyond belief, with an academic profile that continues to climb each and every year. 43,000 applications will give you some significance to the interest that people have in Northeastern University, and in fact, the academic profiles continue to increase. I want this hockey program, our athletic department, to be another face for the university. I think that's what everyone's goal is. And if we can have a successful face in athletics in Northeastern hockey, it'll be another way, another window in excellence, which is what we want to, which is what we want to do and what we covet all along, to show the world what we're doing is the right way here at Northeastern, and we can have excellence along the way. If all the folks who have emailed me, and believe me, it's been humbling, emailed me, texted me, I'm not on Twitter and Facebook, but all those people who have said that they're now going to be buying season tickets, I really didn't do myself a service by not negotiating in my contract a percentage of those season tickets. Can we reopen for discussion? Sure. But I do expect to see Matthews Arena full this year, that's for sure, with all the folks who have said, we're on board, we're jumping on board with our season tickets. And I'm thrilled with that. I've been part of the Northeastern alumni community for a long time. It's a community that I'm very close with and think very highly of. I love for us here at Northeastern Hockey when I talk about community, it's the alumni community, it's the hockey community, it's all one, it's inclusive. And I'd like for our program to be, again, that window for our alumni to engage and build their interest and support around Northeastern University. Northeastern alums have come from many different facets, but they show resiliency and determination, the resiliency and determination, and they'd like to see that in our team, and those are some of the characteristics that we will exemplify in our current team. I'm familiar with our hockey program. I've seen our players play the last few years. I've evaluated them. We've been fortunate enough for the Pittsburgh Penguins to sign a few of them. Brad Thiessen being one, a goaltender, Joe Vitale being another. I'm familiar with the program. I'm looking forward to working with Sebastian LaPlante, who's an assistant coach who will remain with the program. I've had the opportunity to coach Sebastian, recruit him. I know his values. I know that he's got a lot of pride for Northeastern University. He's a real good hockey person, and more importantly, he's a good person overall, and he's got a family that has a Northeastern family connection. So I'm looking forward to working with him, and then building our staff and working with our current players, building on the momentum, the hockey momentum that Greg Cronin and the current staff had built here at Northeastern, and taking that momentum and ratcheting it up another level so that we can have competitive success in Hockey East. Peter and I had some candid conversations. Our commissioner, and I appreciate Joe, you being here, Joe Bertagna, thank you very much. Joe and I have had a friendship and a relationship for a long period of time. Hockey East is a premier league in this country. You take care of your business in Hockey East, that will take care of the national picture. We have aspirations of continuing to play at the national level that Greg and his staff had reestablished 2 years ago. That's where we want to get to. We want to win Beanpots. We want to win Hockey East championships. We want to get to the national tournament. I'm not here to promise anything. I'm just here to say that's our goal, that's our aspiration, that's where we're going to try to lead our young men to that goal. As I look around, and I've mentioned a few, and there's many people that represent my being here at Northeastern. I've mentioned some of the coaches, some of the teammates, friends. There's a few gentlemen who are really special to me that are here. Jack Renauld, who has led these press conferences for many years, 50, I think, Jack. You have been a good friend, a mentor, and someone that I've always respected and admired for many years. Thank you for being here, Jack. We even let Boston College in the building today. I don't think there's a tape, but my good friend Eric Zadie, who we worked here at Northeastern for. I appreciate your being here. Rob Rudnick, who's been a good friend for many years, has been here. David Twombly, our former manager, but he was like an extra player. He had more value than some of the 11th and 12th forwards on our team. Jerry Dwyer, current player, former player, his good friend John. Friends of mine who I was co-op with here at Northeastern, Brian Burns, Frank Mahoney, and then we grew with in the university, Michael McDougall I mentioned. I want to thank the development staff. I mentioned the senior administration by my current staff that's here, who I've worked with and have enjoyed being part of. Kathleen Giordano Holtz, I should say, is here now. Beth Emery's beside her. I can't really see her, but she's there. Thank you, Beth. And some other members who just couldn't be here because of vacation. I want to leave by mentioning one other person one last time, Fernie Flaman, who is here, who taught us how to act as men, how to behave on and off the ice, the true professional. He always used to say, I didn't play in the NHL, I played in the National League, because the National League represented the 16 league. The NHL represented the extended version. He's been a friend, a mentor. We stay in touch an awful lot. He's meant a lot to me, as Don McKinney has, for my being here today. But it's those values that he instilled in us that I want to continue instilling in our players. And I'm looking for success as we move forward after today. Today's a great day. It's a day that I'll always remember. And it's because of the three women right here in front of me. My wife, Kim, 25 years married this year at the end of August. My oldest daughter, Kelly, who's at the Boston Globe doing a co-op right now. I told her not to say anything to the Globe folks. I don't know if that's because my good friend Jocko told me that, but I'm not going to go there. And my youngest daughter, Kate. The two of them are here at Northeastern. They're in the business school. What other school is there at Northeastern? And my wife's an alumna from the institution. They have been my rock. They have been my supporters and allowed me to do what I do best in chasing hockey players, enjoying my hockey affection and love and passion for the game and for Northeastern University. There have been sacrifices along the way, and I appreciate all three of your support in allowing me to be sitting here at this table, standing here at this podium today. I thank everyone for coming, and I look forward to all of us, all our alumni community here, partnering together and working together in building a successful Northeastern hockey team. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Coach Madigan. Jersey looks good on you, by the way. Thank you, Peter. I know it's a little warm here, so we're just going to open the floor to questions real quick. And if I could, I know there's a lot of family and friends here, but we could just keep it to the media. Before we do that, we're going to take a couple questions from Twitter, in fact. So both of these are for you, Coach. And the first one is from Dave Luga from Massachusetts. He wanted to know, how well does Coach know the existing team, and how much contact has he had with them over the past few years?
I think I just mentioned earlier that part of the recruiting process when Greg and Sebastian and Albie were brought to campus, I was actually on that day of travel for them. So when students came in, prospective student athletes came in, they made their way through the academic support service group, through the academic side. I had a chance to sit down with most of them just talking about Northeastern University and my experience. So I was fortunate to be part of that process over the last 6-7 years. The current team, there was a draft choice in this year's team, in Jamie Alexiak, and I think I saw Jamie 10 times this year. So I certainly have a strong foundation and understanding of our current team's, strengths and weaknesses, and the assets they bring.
Lastly, from Michael Salvo from the Washington, D.C. area, an alum. He asked, what's your take on recruiting from Canada versus some of the local competition here for local talent?
Yeah, you know, I always chuckle at that because I'm from Canada and grew up in Montreal and then moved to Toronto later. And years earlier, when Northeastern was a different institution, it was harder to attract the local players. So Fernie and Don did a great job of attracting young men from Montreal, Quebec, and Ontario regions. Years later, as people got to know me and I was becoming a little bit more of a fixture here in New England, a lot of them thought I was actually from the New England region. So they'd always come up and say, yeah, Northeastern. They would always recruit those Canadians. And I'd go, nothing wrong with recruiting Canadians. I'm one of them, hold on. For me, at the end of the day, we're recruiting student athletes. Peter, we're recruiting student athletes. Doesn't really matter where they're from Canada, from the U.S., from the USHL to the Eastern Junior Hockey League. We want the best men, young men who have the qualities and the character and a set of core components that we have used with the Pittsburgh Penguins to identify the types of players we want part of this program here at Northeastern. So at the end of the day, geographic location is irrelevant. It's what they can bring as people, as students, and as athletes.
I'd just like to reiterate, if we could maybe open the questions just to the media contingent here. If you could maybe state your name and affiliation. Jim?
Jim Peter, can you talk about Jim's background and development in the business part he brings to the coast? Notice like Tom Manassas at Michigan State, Norm Mason at Lowell. These are guys that didn't have a lot of head coaching experience, but the business seemed to be attractive to schools.
Well, I think if you're successful in any endeavor, it speaks to your capabilities, your ability to learn, your leadership capability, and how you interact with people and how you build relationships. If you think about what Jim has done over the last number of years in development, in athletics development, in center development, or for college business, you can't get someone to make a donation if they don't trust you, if they don't believe in what you're selling. And it's not really different than recruiting. You're selling the institution, you're selling the value of the institution, and the future that you'll have as a result of that investment of your time and energy. And so you have to be a person of integrity. They have to trust and respect you. And so once they arrive, whatever you said to them to get them here, you have to be consistent with once they're here. And I know Jim to be a person of integrity, someone that you can trust. If he says it, that's going to be the case. So yeah, despite what the background of not having been a head coach, all of us that coached in college had to be a head coach for the first time. I was a head coach at 28, and I had a lot to learn. But the people that hired me saw the potential in me, and so you're talking about a person, Jim Madigan, that's had a 30-year relationship with Northeastern, and at every step of the way, he's proven his passion, his commitment, his dedication to the institution, and everybody that's met Jim and come in contact with him is better for it. I want our athletes to be better for it, and so that to me was the most important thing. So, thank you.
Alex?
Alex Faust from WRBB Radio. Greg Cronin said when he first started here that it was difficult to get back in the college hockey coaching game after being away from it for so long. Do you have the same concern, or how could you speak to that after being away from the bench for 18 years?
Yeah, no, certainly. I have too much respect for my colleagues who are in the coaching fraternity, and we can just look at in this city and see two gentlemen who have been icons at their respective institutions to know that there's going to be a ramp-up period. It's something that we're going to do collectively as a group, as a staff. We're going to have experienced coaches, but make no mistake about it, I'm coming to the table with a lot of hockey knowledge. I've been surrounded with some real good, smart hockey people. I've been exposed to Danny Belsma. I've been exposed to some other coaches with the Pittsburgh Penguins, with the New York Islanders when I was there. When you're in their presence and around them, you learn all the time. You take an organizational perspective on things. You look at things a little bit differently as a member of that organization. And I was fortunate as a regional guy to have that access and that opportunity. So, there'll be a short period of time. It won't be a long time to ramp up because we won't be able to afford that. But the hockey knowledge that you have, what you bring to the table, the understanding of the game, and working with the staff that we have and the staff that we're going to attract will allow for that quick ascension.
Any other questions? Scott?
I'm off from college hockey news for Peter. Obviously, last year you had the suspension with Greg Cronin. Wondering, if that affected into your mind at all during the interview process, and it really made you look, even harder at the candidates you interviewed.
No, it didn't factor in anymore because whatever I did with respect to the suspensions was consistent with my values. And so the hiring of the new head coach for men's ice hockey at Northeastern was a continuation of that commitment to those values. I don't. You can't have values of convenience. You have to have values of conviction. And I'd like to think that I live my values every day. As I said, leadership is 365 days a year. How you treat your family, the kind of relationships you have with people that don't necessarily offer anything for you. You treat them just like you treat anybody else who might have things that they can do to help you. That's Jim. Jim treated the folks that were working front desk like he treated the president of the university. I got to know Jim when I interviewed for my position at Sport and Society almost 10 years ago. And Jim Madigan's the same guy now that he was then. And I'd like to think that I'm the same guy now that I was then. And I think that speaks to our shared value around how we treat people, how we respect the institution, how we appreciate leadership and the role. No, I don't think I looked at the candidates any differently than I would have if we had not gone through that situation.
I was a 34, I'm a 36 now, so I am different.
Yeah. Are there any other questions? Alex?
Did either of you have any contact with Jamie Alexiak before he decided to sign professionally yesterday?
I spoke to Jamie's mom several weeks ago when it was still a question as to whether Jamie would actually pursue that route. And I know Sebastian had talked with the family as well. So there was a number of people that had conversations with Jamie and his family. And that's a situation where the family and Jamie had to evaluate what was in his long-term best interest. When you're a kid with that kind of talent, who has that kind of opportunity in front of them, and you're drafted 14th in the NHL draft, it's a tough decision, and he's a young guy. So we don't begrudge him for making that choice. We wish him well, and whenever Jamie comes back to campus, we'll welcome him with open arms. He's a good guy.
Take two more if they're out there. All right. We'll conclude today's press conference. Thanks I know it's a little warm in here. There's some water back there if you guys are heading out. There'll be a photo opportunity for friends and family if you'd like to stick around. So thank you very much for coming out today.